Hi, welcome to a very special edition on BetSafe, a boxing preview. Looking forward to Saturday night's big fight between Joshua and Molina. We're here at Hatton's Boxing Academy. Delighted to say that with me is former light welterweight and world champion Ricky Hatton. With me, of course, as usual, Paul Dickov, ex-Manchester City and Arsenal striker, and of course, heavyweight Premier League manager Haye Redknapp. This is a very special boxing edition. Of course, Joshua fights Molina on Saturday night, and this will be second defence of his IBF heavyweight title since he defeated Charles Martin earlier this year. What a boxing academy you've got here, by the way. This is fantastic, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's an actually health and fitness place, so we have members downstairs, and then obviously have the boxing gym upstairs. I also run an academy where the public can come in and do the actual physical training, what I actually did, which,
really?
you know, yeah, so people...
do you help them out with that?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I do the classes myself and take them through the paces, which people find it quite unusual. You know, you have your box aerobic classes, but you know they actually do the training I did. You know, some people find it. You know,
well, I do boxing, but the only trouble, I'm great, but it's only if someone hit me back I'd have a problem.
We don't want that.
I have the guy come round and he has the pads and all that, and suddenly I think I'm Ricky or somebody. But I thought if someone actually hit me back, that would be the end of it.
There's something about being in a boxing gym. There's bags all over the place. There's the speed balls. There's the big punch bags, and I've got to hit one of them before we leave. I've already tried to lift that tyre up and I can't lift it up.
I've never known anybody walk in a boxing gym and not hit a bag, to be honest with you. Yeah.
We'll go through the card on Saturday night. You've got Joshua Molina, we've got Dylan White against Eric Chisora, Callum Smith against Luke Blackledge, Lewis Ortiz against David Allen, Scott Quigg, who of course broke his jaw in February, didn't he, against Frampton. He fights Jose Cayetano. And we have the girls, Katie Taylor against Vivian Obenhalf.
That's a good bill, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great bill, isn't it? Okay, let's start on Joshua Molina. He's a bit of a specimen, this boy Joshua, isn't he?
He is. The only thing, you know, he's got the heavyweight championship after really very few fights. You know what I mean? But he's great for.
Well, he's 17 KOs.
Yeah, 17 unbeaten, 17 KOs. It's unbelievable, and he looks a little bit like Frank Bruno in his figure, but Frank won't mind me for saying he seems a little bit more quicker than Frank was. He looks explosively, you know, boxes explosively, and it's good really because he's a nice guy, down to, you know, really down to earth. And I think this is a big fight for him. It's a tricky fight. He's called the Beast, this fella, but that goes without saying. You can imagine what his style must be like. But he has got.
Well, let's go to the styles then, because that's a big thing in boxing. You know, how contrasting are both styles?
I think Joshua's a little bit more class. You know what I mean? He's a very aggressive Molina, but Joshua is a little bit of the full package. He has got good boxing ability, needless to say, big punching power. He's got a huge frame, and I think he'll be a bit too much. On previous fights that Molina has been involved in, Deontay Wilder has stopped him in 9 rounds. Areola stopped him in the first round, so he can be beat because he is that aggressive. He leaves openings, you know, and he can be beat. But against Deontay Wilder, he had him in all sorts of trouble early on. So Anthony's got to be really on his game, and he can't afford to think, I've just got to turn up to this, which Anthony won't do that because there's talk of him fighting Vladimir Klitschko next, isn't it? So I mean, that's a huge fight for him. So it adds more importance to this.
It's a dangerous fight for Ricky, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah, it's a dangerous fight. It's a big, and these are the dangerous fights where you've got a fighter that is aggressive, that is very dangerous, but everyone's expecting you to beat him. You know, and if you take your foot off the gas, take your eye off the ball, as they say, you know, and just, you know, it could come a cropper, especially in the heavyweight division, because it doesn't matter. You get hit on the chin with 18 stone, there's always a chance the wheels could come off.
Molina's already had a go at Anthony Joshua, sitting face to face, given that you've not been hit yet.
Yeah. So you know, you can see his intentions coming out, and you can see in that the gloves are off that they did. On the telly, he's really up for it, and he's just been to Poland and beat Adamek in Poland as well. So he's flying at the, you know, at the minute, you know, and you know, when he fights someone like Anthony Joshua, you know, you can get a good you think people, when they look at the size of them, they've been before they get in the ring, but this fella doesn't look phased, if I'm honest.
Well, on BetSafe we've got Joshua at 1-33, so everybody thinks he's going to win. Molina 31-2 and 29-1 the draw. Joshua to win in round 4, 6-1. Joshua to win in round 8, 41, and only 2 of Joshua fights have gone beyond 3 rounds.
Absolutely. I think about midway. Think about midway, and it's, in the heavyweight division, if Anthony lands, the minute he lands on him, it could be over. But no, I'd probably say a safe bet would be about the middle rounds. Yeah.
You like into Josh as a fighter?
Oh yeah, he looks a real fantastic prospect. Yeah.
He's as good as it was. In fact, I suppose if we go back to the Lennox Lewis days, because Lennox was obviously the best, heavyweight we had, and he looks as if Joshua could be. I don't want to say the next Lennox Lewis, that's unfair, but certainly our next big hope is a heavyweight champ.
He's a great prospect, no doubt about that. And I think at the moment, if he gets...
He's going to get better as well.
Yeah,
he was in at Sky TV, and I didn't walk past him, he was kind of just like over there, and I thought, oh my God, he's massive.
He's a huge. And
he's massive.
You'd expect him to be, when you look at the size of him, slow, like I mentioned, like Frank had unbelievable punching power, and he did us all so proud, but...
I suppose the only question, Ricky knows better than anybody, the only question mark, Ricky, is can he take, is he chin, can he take
that's
always the question
big
mark.
Question. The wheels can always...
Has he been under pressure at all yet in any of his fights?
Dylan White,
Dylan
White gave him a good fight and shook him up a little bit, but that's... I don't think that was such a bad thing, because that's when you do fight the Klitschko's and all that, you want to be able to say I've experienced everything in the ring. You know what I mean? If he'd have gone in there and never been shook up in his life, he won't know how to cope with it. You know what I mean? So at least Dylan White is a domestic European, I believe, level. And if he shook Joshua up, then there's always a chance in the heavyweight division that the wheels could come off any minute, and I certainly hope it doesn't, because I think he's doing us all proud.
Do you know what I think everybody in BetSafe watching this wants to know is, and it's exactly what you've just been speaking about there. Do you remember the first time you got hit in the chin?
I did, yeah. My first time was, I got stopped as an amateur when I boxed internationally, and then Eamon McGee stopped me on my backside when. And you learn from it. When my best win was against Kostya Tszyu.
Oh, what a night that was.
I can say going into that fight, I'd ticked every box in the sense that I'd been knocked down by Eamon McGee, I'd been cut several times, I had my eye closed where the referee gave me one more round and I was able to come away and win, so I knew whatever Kostya Tszyu threw at me, I'd already experienced it, to be honest with you, and that's, even though Anthony Joshua got shook up by Dylan White, I don't think that's such a bad thing. You need to be on it.
Does that give Molina... He's got more experience of that then, surely?
Yeah.
So does that go in his favour then?
I mean,
or is Joshua just simply too good for Molina?
He looks on a different level, but you can never say that with your whole hand and your heart, in the heavyweight division.
Well, what I was going to say was that hopefully everybody in the BetSafe world will want to know is, what's the plan now? You've got 4 or 5 days to go. Do you stop the running in the road? Do you stop sparring? Are you eating different? What's the kind of gauge of 3 days to go, 2 days to go, 1 day to go? What will he be narrowing now? What does he stop doing that he was doing? He's not running in the road surely now.
Yeah, he'll probably be doing a little bit of road work.
Do they still spar as much?
No. I think
that's done.
The sparring would stop, especially being a heavyweight. You get whacked on cuts and bruises and everything like that. You can't afford to do it. But
what's he specifically thinking? Is he watching Molina fight?
Oh yeah, he'll be watching Molina's fights, and he'll just be going through the game plan with his trainer. You know what I mean? Going through the tactics, a little bit of pad work, there's little technique work. Getting his game plan together, working on certain moves that will work against his opponent. But the actual graft thing will stop now, because he's probably been in training, I don't know, maybe 10 weeks, 12 weeks for this fight, which is very, very draining on your body. You need to let the body recover that last week and get it back, if you like. So he'll just be working on technique at the minute. decent food. The thing is, you know, the last week for myself, especially with being such a fatty, I had to really cut down my calories and cut down my certain food in order to make that 10 stone, where he doesn't have to do that in the heavyweight division, but he'll still need the right food in him, because you know, your food's your petrol, if you like, you know, your energy.
I was lucky enough to watch Ricky train a few times leading up to his world title fights, and the punishment he's put your body through.
No, it's unbelievable, and you've got to, you know, you've got to have that. You've got to have that little bit of a comeback to get it all back. You know, the sparring, the road work, the dieting, and then after you've done that, you've got the small matter of the fight. You know, so you know, you do have to have that little unwind coming to before the fight. And even though Anthony won't be making weight or anything like that, he'll be working every day on getting the pads out, working on his tactics, getting his game planning involved, and trying to conserve as much energy so that when that bell goes on that first, you know, on the night, he's absolutely bouncing. You know what I mean?
I think we're all going for Andy, Josh. We don't think. I mean, I do think it will go beyond the 3 rounds. I think I'm with you. I'm going kind of, I think 6 or 7. I mean, I know he's probably going to come out. I mean, will one of the tactics be I'll come out and do him in the first round? Is that
depends.
tactics you can have?
As Ricky said, if he connects, it can all be over in the first, can't it? You know, if he hits him with one of his best shots,
is at this level, he'll have to go out cautious, you know what I mean? Because and show the fella, because he's knocked out Ariola, who was a world level fighter not too long back. A little bit of seen better days now, and then Adamek in Poland, he's gone and stopped him out there. So Anthony shouldn't be thinking I'm just going to go in there and blast him. He should be thinking I'm going to be careful and show this fella the respect, you know, that he deserves, because he's an aggressive type, and he looks confident, you know.
We're talking about Joshua's tactics. What will Molina do? Will he go in and try and hurt him early doors?
I think he'll try and go out there. I think he'll be aggressive, because that's the way he is. But I think he'll have it in his mind. If he can get to the midway mark and still be in there, you know, then he's going to have a better chance, because he has a chance of taking Joshua into territory he's not really used to.
Yeah, I think he's already said that, Molina, as well. He said you haven't been the distance at all.
Yeah.
And I think is that a mind game thing with him, thinking if we get to 6, 7 or 8, you're in territory you've never been before? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's this, and that's what you do. When I fought Kostya Tszyu, he'd stopped Shanbei Mitchell in 2, and he'd shot Zabjo doing 2, and Shanbei Mitchell in 3, and he hadn't gone the distance for some time. And he's such a murderous puncher. I'm thinking to myself, if I can get by half, can get to 6 rounds, I'm having you. Yeah. You know, that's what I generally thought, and that's what happened. And I think Molina will be doing the same.
Best sporting event I've been at. The atmosphere that night, Ricky. The Manchester crowd.
Ricky was talking about respect. I think a bit of respect's needed here. Your career, 45 and 3, 32 knockouts. You only lost to Mayweather, which I still can't believe you actually fought Mayweather. Brilliant. Pacquiao, which was a good fight. That was a good fight. And then, of course, when you came back, you fought Shevchenko right at the end of your career. During your boxing career, you held multiple world titles at light welterweight, one at welterweight, as well as the lineal light welterweight title. You were ranked by BoxRec as the best British lightweight of all time, the 2nd best in Europe, 7th best in the world. In 2005, you were named Fighter of the Year. You were Fighter of the Year as well one year, but that was way older. Magazine by the Writers Boxing Association in America. I mean, I take my hat off to you, because even just sitting by the rings here, I don't want to climb through the ropes. No time.
He was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, we had.
I mean, that must bring back good memories. All those stats.
Those some wonderful times. You look around the gym and all the posters are there of all the title fights, and you know, everyone talks about the Mayweather fight, the Pacquiao fights, and Kostya Tszyu fights.
Well, the Mayweather fight was in Vegas, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it, you know.
Talk me briefly through that one.
I think they stitched us up a little bit. You know, I think a lot of people loved the Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather experience, in the sense that British fight fans loved it. 30,000 went over. I mean, if we had 30,000 go to watch England in the World Cup, we'd be over the moon, wouldn't we? But 30,000 went to watch one person. And we were in the bars, and the hotels ran out of beer, and they were singing the national anthem.
Which is hard to do in Vegas.
Yeah, and in fact, they actually booed the national anthem, but I mean, it wasn't a disrespectful thing. It's what we tend to do at football matches. You know, we do, don't we? It's more of a football thing, you know, I guess, that can sometimes happen, but no, I think the Americans were very, very patriotic. I don't think they liked it, and I think the referee, saw his backside, and you know.
Did HBO not go on your side? I think HBO had you winning.
They had me 3 rounds to 2 up after 5, even with all the break. So it always makes me look back and wonder, what if they had let me have a go at him. You know what I mean? But
Look, I'm slightly biased.
it seemed like they
The referee
protected him.
hadn't stopped you pushing him. You were bullying him when you had him.
Yeah,
he didn't like that either, did he?
Yeah, no, it seemed like he was protected to me. But I mean, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite and say, you know, the reason why I got beat by Mayweather is nothing. It's only the referee that's why I got beat. But because he is Floyd Mayweather, and he'll probably go down as arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. So I feel very proud that I shared the ring with him. But I think the referee didn't do me any favours that night. Yeah.
We'll get to the rest of the Saturday night fights. I just want to mention a fight that's obviously on the horizon as well. I think it's next February, March, which is David Haye and Tony Bellew. I don't remember you ever having to sell a fight the way these two are trying their best to do it. I mean, I'm not trying to be overly disparaging, but do us a favour, we're not stupid, are we?
No, well, I mean, I you know, it'd be hard pushed to find anyone who could sell tickets more than me, and I never bad-mouthed anyone. I think it's because I was no different to the person in the crowd, really. I was an exciting style, and I was just a Jack the Lad type that people liked, and that's why I was able to sell tickets. But unfortunately, you have to do it these days. And I mean, Tony Bellew, sometimes when the camera goes on him, he comes across as arrogant and that, but he couldn't be any further from the truth.
Yeah,
I remember from the amateurs and everything, and you know, but what makes it interesting is like with me and Mayweather, I was, you know, I feel like a down-to-earth Jack the Lad type, you know, where he was getting his bling out every 5 minutes. Where David, you know, he's been in the jungle, and he's more. Tony seems a boxer, and David seems a celebrity boxer. If that makes any sense. So it's one thing.
So
two opposites.
Who wins the fight then?
It's very hard for me to make this decision. I wish I could sit on the fence because they're both pals of mine, and I absolutely think the world of both of them. I just think David is obviously bigger. I think he's fought the bigger and better people. I think it's all about, you know, he's fought the better people. He's bigger, and I think sometimes Tony goes for the knockout, and the way he's talking, he is so confident about winning this fight. You know, which is good, but I think that could be his downfall in the end. I think if he goes for the knockout, leaves himself a little bit open too much, David could clock him, but you know, it's certainly...
I think after seeing the press conference as well, that David Hay's experience and calmness might be...
Yeah, Tony looks like I did against Mayweather. If I could turn the clock back at that weigh-in against Mayweather when I was sticking the head on him and I was pushing and shoving, if I could turn the clock down and I think it could have gone easy does it type thing. But I think, you know, Tony's ranting and raving, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and David just seems... Well, so you know, it makes a difference, you know, you know, what frame of mind you're in before the fight.
It's quite an exciting time for British heavyweights, really, isn't it, with Joshua and, you know, with...
Well, there's a light heavyweight fight, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, light heavyweight.
Yeah, these two. I mean, Hayes obviously fought heavyweight all his career, but now he's dropped down, you know. But no, I love it. I mean, the boxing, I just think they're fantastic.
Tony Bellew's been active though, where David's been a bit quiet lately, and that can make a difference. Do you know what I mean? If you know, Tony's lighter can be a bit nippier. Do you know what I mean? And he's been busy. He's been the one that's been fighting on a regular basis, where David hasn't. So you know, it's not like a foregone conclusion.
Well, that's not on Saturday night, that fight. We're looking forward to it on Wednesday. Let's go through the rest of the fight card. Now, this is a similar kind of thing. Dylan White against Derek Chisora. Dylan White's 1-3 on BetSafe. Chisora 12-5, and I've just written potentially explosive, could get out of hand.
Yeah, that could be the best fight on the...
Good fight.
Could be the best fight of the night.
I'm looking forward to that fight.
Yeah, because they genuinely do hate each other.
I like Dylan White. I think he's got bags of ability, Ricky, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a bit of a bad boy, Chisora, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a bad boy, you know.
Unruly, let's say.
Yeah, most...
He's very
watching this, mate.
When I say it was Paul Dickov said that Chisora was rather unruly.
Both lovely guys.
No, but I think it's like we were talking again to, you know, sometimes when the camera goes on them, they feel like they've got to sell it. And Chisora's one of them. He certainly does it. And to be honest, I think he has gone over the top of it a few times. I think he'd be the first to admit that. But these two generally don't like it. No. It's a good style. They both fight very similar. I think they're both going to go and try and knock each other out. Yeah. And they're both evenly matched. You know, the odds there. You know, not. You know.
Was Dylan White 1-3 the favourite because he gave Joshua that?
I think he probably could do.
Because there's not.
And don't forget, Derek Chisora has been knocked out by David Haye in the past. And, you know, so. You know,
they beat someone recently. I watched a fight. I can't think it was now. Dylan White. It was good. quite a good fight.
He won his last fight.
Yeah, the last fight was in Scotland. One of my lads fought Ricky Burns in Scotland for the world title, and Dylan fought and Ian Lewisham, I think. I think it was, and he looked quite comfortable.
Well, Dylan White, 1-3 favourite. That should be a good fight. And like Ricky says, pretty explosive. Another one is Callum Smith against Luke Blackledge. Callum 1-50, Blackledge 40-1. Super middleweight Blackledge, and European middleweight champion Smith is clear favourite. 6'3" is a big boy, Callum Smith.
Yeah, I think he could be our next superstar in the making. The odds there don't lie. Do they want to,
Cool. Yeah, well, they're certainly not giving Blackledge. I mean, he's had a few problems in his life. Blackledge, he can fight, but I don't know whether he's as good as a European middleweight champion.
No, I mean, he's he can fight, but I think he's a little bit out of his depth there. And I think Callum has not just been winning his fights, he's been winning his fights with a bit to spare. And if you're winning your fights at European level with so much to spare, that shows you've got it in you to go that extra exactly well. Brilliant, brilliant. Tall, but good body puncher for his height. He's comes from a great family, good friends of mine, very successful family. All the Paul Smith, Steve Smith, Callum Smith.
There's a few there. Well, good luck to both of the fighters, to be fair, but I think Callum might just have a little bit too much class. The next one, in fact, Ortiz is touted as a possible Anthony Joshua opponent. It's Luis Ortiz from Cuba. 1-100 he has to fight Doncaster's David Allen, who's only 18-1. 9 wins, 1 loss in the draw, David Allen.
David's been down here sparring a few times.
He's
good. He is good. Yeah, he's very tricky, very unorthodox.
It's a tough fight for him against a Cuban.
I think
because this Cuban boy can fight.
He's stepping up several levels there to fight Ortiz, and I hope I'm wrong, because David's a lovely kid. I just think he might be a bit out of his depth there, and the odds don't lie. They 1-100.
Would it be unfair to say it's not a bad fight for him to take on? He's got nothing to lose, but he was going to learn bundles. Provided he stands up long enough.
Yeah.
Is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. He's not. He's not a ferocious puncher. No, David won't mind me for saying. And sometimes, when you pack a dig, like we said earlier, you've always got a chance, especially in the heavyweight division. But I don't think he's known for his punching power either. So he has got a very unorthodox and tricky style. He could mess him around for a few rounds, but he's jumped right up. After so many fights, 11 fights or whatever, he's gone up 5 levels, to be honest with you. So it's going to be tough for Dave.
Is it one where he's got the opportunity to take the fight and he can't turn it down? He'd have been offered a very, very good purse, which should have been life changing for him in many ways. So
great experience for him as well.
It will be a good experience.
As long as he stands up long enough.
It can be a bad experience, can't it?
The Manchester crowd and grinning that.
If he goes in and gets smashed to pieces.
He's one of them. If he gets smashed to pieces, he might not come back from it.
No.
But to be honest with you, he's got. Having said that, he's got nothing to lose.
This next one is a belter. Now I know Scott Quigg broke his jaw against Frampton in February. He's come back. He's fighting Jose Cayetano, the Mexican, who's a featherweight, who held a featherweight crown. Actually, he moves up a weight though, Scott Quigg.
Yeah. I think he's after. Scott's very big at the weight. He's in the gym. He's very, very dedicated.
Super bantamweight he was.
Super bantamweight. Yeah. He's always had a bit of a battle. But don't forget there's certain weights you can move up from welterweight to light middleweight. That's £7, and then you can move up then from light middleweight to middleweight. That's another £6. When you're in this division, it's only 4. So it's not as big as what it can be. But I think he might be moving up one because he might be after a rematch. I think Scott.
Well, he won a rematch with Frampton.
He started off a little bit too slow in the Cal Frampton fight, and I think when he did put his foot on the gas in the latter half, I think he'll end up. I think he went home, sat on the settee, and must have thought, for started a few rounds quicker, So he'll believe Cal Frampton is looking brilliant now, and he's won that world title up at featherweight, But I think Scott Quigg will feel like he's got the beating of him, and he needs to win this in order to get that fight again.
Well, he's 1-33 on BetSafe. He's heavy favourite. If you fancy Cayetano, you're a Mexican, and he's 11-1. But I do think Scott, even with moving up, the Berry boy might be too good. We need to mention this one as well. I don't know how much of a boxing fan you are, a women's boxing fan you are. Katie Taylor is 1-100 against Vivian Obanov, the Brazilian, who's 16-1. Now, all I heard about Katie Taylor after she won her Olympic gold was she's 30 years old. it's too late for her to turn professional. That's all I was hearing all the time.
Yeah, it's very hard to. I'd say it is.
No, she's won a gold medal, 5 world champs, 6 Euro champs, she's lightweight.
She might not want to turn. She might not. Well, she has turned pro, hasn't she? But I mean,
she's
it's
turned
like
pro now.
it's like Nicola Adams. She might not want to turn pro. I mean, and the fact that she's fit. Well, she's. You know,
well, she's heavy favourite
if
to win
women
the
can get there for world titles as a professional quicker than maybe a lad can, because there's not as many of them about. You know what I mean? You know, so she probably will get there.
Well, this is professional.
No, not yet.
No, she's
not
still
yet. This is only her second fight, but they've both beaten the Karina Kopinska, who Obenhout beat before, and that was Karen's first win. This is only her second. Sorry, Katie. This is only her second professional.
No, a lot about women's, but I'm surprised. This is amazing.
Do your thing with you. But having said, because of the Irish angle, I've got a few Irish pals of mine, and they were quite in there. But they were always surprised that she'd started too late to turn pro, because she's obviously a good. I mean, she obviously wants to fight for that Olympic gold anyway, didn't she? So.
Yeah, but you know, as she turn pro, she'll get a move on. And to be honest, look, you know what Anthony's, you know, he's fighting in world class David Allen after 10 fights. You know, Anthony Joshua has won the world title after just 17 fights. You know what I mean? So there's not as many lady boxers as these men boxers. So she might just get away with it. She might just get away with it.
I was actually going to say, do you have any women fighters in the gym here?
We don't know. No. I must admit, I wasn't a fan at first of ladies boxing, but it's got more and more popular. They work equally as hard as you know as we do. I wasn't really a fan of ladies hitting each other at first, but they do it. It's dead popular now. Yeah. But no, you know, I am a fan now. They work hard, you know, and. Yeah, you know, I mean, good luck to her. I think she might just, she's 30. Traditionally, you'd say that's a little bit too old, but she might get away with it, because, I mean, women's boxers, they can move on quicker than men.
Yeah.
Well, she's heavy favourite, 1 to 100, Vivian Obenalf. The Brazilian 16-1. You mentioned Nicola Adams. She's been absolutely fantastic, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean,
I met her at Manchester Airport. She's only a little thing.
Yeah.
She's only nothing wrong with being little. Yeah. But she's only a little tight. But she obviously got a bit of a dig on her, hasn't she?
Well, she fights other little girls. That's the key.
On
that note, welcome Nicola in. You're fighting Paul Dickov later on today. Listen, just the last thing then, we'll mention Joshua again. Hopefully he's going to be successful, and we can look forward to that Klitschko fight then, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a shame what's happened in the heavyweight division. You know, Tyson Fury. You know what the big fights are. The domestic fights, aren't they? Domestic rivals, and I'm a bit gutted that Tyson's career has gone the way it's gone, because I mean, it'd have been lovely to see 2 British heavyweight world champions fighting in a domestic world title unification match. That would have been something else. But no, you know, Klitschko, I think Anthony might be getting Klitschko at just the right time. I think seems to have been around forever. Tyson beat him well in Germany. You know what I mean? It was a close fight, but he got the decision. But I think if it might be the right time, you know, Anthony, I can only see Klitschko getting a slight dip in his performances nowadays, you know, because of the fights he's had and the age of him, where I think Joshua is going to get better and better. So hopefully, you know, we can do the business weekend, and that fight can be made with Klitschko. Yeah,
exactly. Well,
you want to fight the best, and Klitschko is the best in the heavyweights at the minute.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I think we all think that Anthony Joshua is going to win, so I'm going to have a prediction. Harry, prediction: round, points, knockout. Anthony Joshua against Molina.
4 rounds.
4 rounds.
Joshua.
4 rounds. Joshua wins in 4 rounds for Harry.
I'll go under 4. I think Joshua will.
Under 4?
Yeah.
Let's speak to the man who should know what's happening.
I don't know why you're asking us.
Well, hang on, before Rick says in, I'm going to go 6. I think he wins in 6.
I think 6. I mean, it would not.
You've only said that. She told you that before.
It would not surprise me.
Up here for thinking and listening.
It would not surprise me if it went 1 round. I think, and Anthony, sometimes when I've made decisions like this, maybe it could go a few rounds. Anthony has always surprised us, impressed us, and flattened them.
Yeah, exactly.
Flattened them, so hopefully we'll do that again. But I mean, safe bet, just like my football bets.
Yeah, exactly.
6th round.
Yeah, remember that
midway. Yeah,
to remind of Ricky's treble was Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City. But having said that, if they win, it's always money in the sports book. Listen, thanks for watching this special edition of When Football Meets Boxing, our preview to a big night of boxing on Saturday in Manchester. featuring, of course, Anthony Joshua against Eric Molina. With myself, Alan not yet. With myself, Alan McInally, Paul Dickov, Harry Redknapp, and absolutely delighted to be in the Boxing Academy of World Champion Ricky Hatton. This has been a Box Safe preview for Saturday night. Good luck, and remember, you have
to be in it to win it.
No, you've got to be in it to win it.
Well done, mate. Brilliant.